But thank you for coming, and thank you for wanting to find out more about LYPFT and what our current care services vacancies are and that we have at the moment. So although we've got an agenda here, this is not intended to make the session today to feel formal at all. It's simply to give an overview of what I'm going to be going through. So we have just under an hour this morning, and I'd like to cover some information on what it's like to work at LYPFT, our current care service vacancies, and then I'm going to round off with some information on relocation and also our tips for applying and interviewing, and then we've got some time at the end for some questions. So, what's it like to work for Leeds and York Partnership NHS Foundation Trust, which you'll hear me referred to as LYPFT as we move through the rest of the session this morning, is what we refer to ourselves internally. NHS loves an acronym, but it's a lot quicker than saying Leeds and York Partnership NHS Foundation Trust. So a bit about us. LYPFT are the primary provider of mental health and learning disability services in Leeds and York. We support service users and carers, our staff and the communities we serve to live healthy and fulfilling lives. And our vision is to provide outstanding mental health and learning disability services, but also be an employer of choice. So we need people like you to help us achieve our goals, to live our lives free from stigma and discrimination, and to improve the lives of people with a learning disability and mental ill health, sorry. We have 60 sites across Leeds and York, and they cover 45 services. And we have very strong values. So our values are integrity, and we do this by treating everybody with respect and dignity. We keep things simple. We do this by making it easy for the communities we serve and the people who work here achieve their goals. We're caring, so we always show empathy and support to those in need and to each other. And the way we behave and interact with one another is key to living our values. We have to continue to challenge ourselves to demonstrate these in all that we do. Our attitudes and behaviours can have such a positive impact on service users and staff experiences. So they are really critical to the delivery of our strategic goals, but also to the care that we provide to our service users and the support that we give to each other. So benefits and reward. Your well-being is our priority, and we want to support you to feel safe, healthy, and well, both physically and psychologically. And there may be times when personal circumstances, work pressures, or health concerns impact on your well-being. And we find that those people in caring roles often don't raise their hand for help themselves. So we really do encourage each other to seek help when needed. Other benefits for working for us, other than obviously our top priority being staff health and well-being, we have fantastic support schemes, and that includes our own dedicated staff physiotherapist, who is fantastic. We have the NHS pension scheme. It's still one of the very best pensions around. We have a really generous annual leave entitlement. Standard 27 days, and that rises to 33 days with 10 years service, plus all the bank holidays. There are enhancements to your basic pay if you work a 24/7 day week shift pattern. And if you've got more questions around that, please do ask the interview panel if you're successful to be taken through to interview. If you are a carer or you're a working parent, or if you look after children in any capacity, we have really family and carer friendly working policies, such as flexible working and agile working. We'll also support your career development. We have a really diverse range of services at Leeds and York, which means that you can access a really wide range of experiences, skills, knowledge, and that really enables continuous professional development and career progression. And we also recognise and celebrate staff achievements. For those people that go the extra mile, we have our Star Awards every month, and we also have our yearly Trust Awards as well. We have really excellent access to generous benefit schemes as well. We have a car leasing scheme, which includes electric cars. We have childcare vouchers, health service discounts, and financial wellbeing support as well. You'll also get access to our chaplaincy, which offers spiritual and pastoral care as well. And we have an amazing research and development team where we support a range of studies, including service users, carers, friends and family, along with our colleagues, where we collaborate with the mental health research community to help develop new cutting edge care, which will improve and ultimately change lives. So from day one of being a colleague at LYPFT, you can get involved in a lot of research and development. So our services, I'd like to take you through the services that currently have care vacancies within the trust, tell you a little bit about them and go through those vacancies that we have. So we'll start off with our older people service. Older people service have locations at the Mount, Ayr Court and Millfield House. At the Mount, they currently have vacancies for community mental health nurses, inpatient mental health nurses, staff nurses, activity coordinator, occupational therapists, charge nurse, and a mental health practitioner. And the Mount is home to our older people's acute inpatient services. They provide care and support for people with acute mental health needs, including dementia. And Ayr Court currently have vacancies for a community mental health nurse. And Ayr Court is home to our older people's community mental health service. And this is dedicated for people aged 65 and over, living in Leeds, offering home delivered care. And we also have a vacancy for a healthcare support worker at Millfield House. And this is a fantastic way of the first step on your healthcare career as a support worker. I should say healthcare support workers do make up our largest professional group at LYPFT. The next service that has vacancies is our forensic service at Clifton House. So our Clifton House site is a low secure adult inpatient mental health service. They also provide community forensic services and a court assessment and probation liaison services as well. And forensics are looking for a senior forensic clinical counselling psychologist, a staff nurse and a senior nurse. So next up, we have our children and young people's mental health service at the location Red Kite View, which is in Armley in Leeds on the St Mary's Hospital site. They're currently looking for a staff nurse in their PQ unit, which is their intensive care unit, and also a senior nurse. Red Kite View is a specialist inpatient mental health service for children and young people aged 13 to 18. And Red Kite View opened in January 2022, so it's very much a brand new Tier 4 inpatient unit. And they aim to provide a really warm and friendly therapeutic environment which supports children and young people on their journey to recovery. And they provide a range of creative therapies and activities, as well as having an in-house school unit as well, to make sure that no one feels left behind with their schoolwork while they're at Red Kite View. The next service that has vacancies is our Leeds Rehabilitation and Recovery Service. And they're based at Ascot Croft, and they're looking for a case manager and a community mental health nurse. So our Leeds Rehab and Recovery Service is comprised of 2 units covering comprehensive assessment and individualised care packages. These are of interventions within a safe and supportive inpatient environment. In addition to this, they have their Ward 5, which is their locked rehab service. And they also have the recovery centre, which is a key part of the inpatient service as well. And then finally, the acute inpatient service, which is based at the Beckland Centre and the Newsom Centre, and they currently have vacancies for staff nurses. Our acute inpatient services primarily for people of working age who have been assessed via the crisis assessment services as individuals who require assessment and treatment. However, the service is also quite flexible and can admit other service users dependent upon their needs. And people who are admitted to the Beckland Centre and to Ward 4 at the Newsom Centre have complex and acute mental health needs, but the service is also available for people with learning disabilities and those who are detained under the Mental Health Act. All the wards at Beckland and Newsom are open with access and egress systems, and they admit both informal and detained service users, as I mentioned. The Beckland Centre has 2 single-sex male wards and also the women's service, which is comprised of 2 single-sex female wards. They also have Ward 4 at the Newsom Centre, which is a male ward as well. Our learning disability service, based at St Mary's Hospital in Armley, currently has vacancies for a community nurse, a physiotherapist and an involvement coordinator. Our learning disability inpatient service and our learning disability specialist health planned care, which is also referred to as respite, are both based at the main St Mary's Hospital building, which includes Willow House and Woodland Square. The services at Woodland Square is where respite is based, and this is for people with profound and multiple learning disabilities, and also offers respite for people with challenging behaviour. Next, we have our CREST service, which is Community Rehabilitation Enhanced Support Team. This is a regional community mental health service which helps people live outside of more complex locked rehabilitation. CREST are currently looking for specialist rehabilitation occupational therapists to be part of their eating disorder recovery support team. CREST is quite a new regional community mental health service that helps people live, as I mentioned, outside of that more complex locked rehab. The goal is to move people using these out of area services from inpatient setting to be back nearer to home. It was established in 2021 and the team aims to empower people to really build and define and live a meaningful, independent and satisfying life closer to their families and communities. Other opportunities that we have, we also have opportunities across Leeds and the wider West Yorkshire region in services that we run with other providers collaboratively. For example, our Leeds Mental Wellbeing Service, that's in partnership with other NHS trusts in Leeds and also third sector providers. The Leeds Mental Wellbeing Service offers help, guidance and support for common issues such as anxiety, stress and depression. So you can, so service users can get help that works for them. And those treatments are available for people aged 17 and over who are registered with a Leeds GP. And some people, they just benefit from a different approach with their mental health difficulties, and they're referred to our primary care mental health team, and primary mental health care staff aim to build on assessing and supporting individuals to really understand their difficulties and help them to take steps to move forward. So our Leeds mental wellbeing service are currently looking for a locality primary care mental health specialist practitioner. And then other opportunities that we have are for qualified nursing associates. So if you are a qualified Band 4 nursing associate and you're looking to join a mental health service, we have lots of opportunities across the trust. So if you, I'll provide the link at the end, but if you're looking to apply, then upon application and successful interview, you then have a discussion on the location and service that you would be placed into. So next up, I would like to take you through some interview and application tips to help you be successful in not only applying for one of our vacancies, but also at interview as well. So the NHS application is renowned for being long. The focus of the application, once you've completed all of your personal information and employment history, is the supporting statement. This is probably the most important section of the form. It really helps us decide if we'd like to invite you for an interview. So a good supporting statement clearly and concisely explains how you meet all the essential criteria for a post, which is listed on the person specification that's posted alongside the job description on a vacancy advert. So ideally, you would include some of the desirable criteria in your supporting statement as well. If you don't do a good supporting statement, we could easily assume that you aren't right for the role. So even though they're long and they're a long read, it's really helpful to read through the job description and the person spec, so you know exactly what we're looking for, and then you can use these as a checklist for your application and your supporting statement. So do try to give examples for the essential and desirable criteria. Think about relevant skills and experience you gained in a paid job, a volunteering role, work experience, placement, school, university, or any other area of your life. For example, if a job asks for someone who works well in a team, you could write something like, I worked on a group project at school, college, or uni. My role included working with others to write and deliver the final presentation. Teamwork was essential to its success. So there you've given a real life tangible experience example. So do this for each of the criteria. All person specifications are different. So if you save your application form, make sure you change the information in your personal statement to suit each job you apply for. I find it really helpful to create an offline version, finalise it, save it, and then copy and paste it into the online form. This way you avoid losing all your hard work. Trust me, it happens to the best of us. So now you've finished your supporting statement, make sure you've completed the rest of the form correctly. Track, which is the application system we use, is very intuitive and it won't allow you to progress through each stage until you've saved it. But make sure you filled it out correctly. You've included all your work history, any work experience, any volunteering, all your qualifications and any other courses that you've done over the years. Do remember an application form is a legal document, so it's vital to complete it honestly and accurately. You can save your application at any time on track and come back to it and complete it at a later date. You don't have to do it all in one big hit. Take your time, break it down into chunks, and then you're giving it your best shot then. But do make sure you've answered all the mandatory questions. As I mentioned before, track won't allow you to progress through the application unless that's done. But if for any reason that doesn't happen, if you don't complete the mandatory questions, your application can be rejected and you won't make it through to shortlisting. So once you've completed the application, make sure everything's correct, double check your spelling, your names, your dates, maybe ask someone to read it through if possible. A fresh pair of eyes is always really helpful. And if you get stuck, Track offers a lot of online support to help you every step of the way. So in some interview tips, if you don't know about the STAR technique, this is a real game changer. So it enables you to anticipate and plan your responses to questions in a way that really lands with interviewers. Interviewing is hard work, and part of your role at the interview is to make the interviewer's job easy by giving really succinct and powerful examples of your abilities and experience. So let me quickly recap what is a STAR example. So STAR stands for situation or task, action and result. So situation or task, what was the context? What are you being asked to do? Action, what did you achieve? Or what did you do to achieve this? And then result, what was the outcome or result? For example, was there money or time saved? Did you provide better customer service, better patient care, increased staff morale, for example? And I always find it really helpful in an interview to reflect on that example. What did I learn from this? How did I reflect on this, and how did it change my actions in the future? A good STAR example addresses all three elements concisely by referring to previous experience. And you can use the STAR technique to prepare your application and then answer the interview questions as well. But you do need to prepare them. Aim to go into an interview with a dozen or so dynamite STAR examples up your sleeve. Have examples that can be potentially used to illustrate one or more strengths. But don't be tempted to parrot them out regardless. Just because you've got them up your sleeve, you might not use them all. So listen carefully to the question and ensure that you give a relevant answer. And STAR relevant questions are also referred to as competency-based questions, which are questions designed to give real life examples of how you would handle or have handled a situation or task. Now, what do we expect from an interview? Most NHS interview panels are 2 people or more. Some interviewers may ask you to prepare a presentation to deliver on the day, but you'll be given at least 1 week's notice of this, and not all roles require this as part of the selection process. And what should you wear? We like you to be smart, but we also would like you to be comfortable. If you don't feel like you won't shine through. So dress to suit your style, not someone else's. So what are our next steps? So we have live vacancies, as you've heard today, at the moment. I will put the link shown on the screen here in the chat box in a few minutes, just for convenience. And this link will take you through to a page with all the vacancies I've been through today. The deadline to apply for these vacancies is the 19th of May, so you've got a good week to do that. Once the vacancies have closed at midnight on the 19th of May, that's when shortlisting will take place by all the individual services. That takes a couple of days, and then outcome of shortlisting is sent out to you via the track system that you applied through. And then if you're successful, you'll be invited to interview either at the location of the service or via remote interview on Teams. So next up, we've got lots of time for questions. So I'm going to take my slides down and we'll go through some questions. Anything that I can't answer, I will go away and find somebody far more suited to answer the question, and we'll get the answer to you by email. But before we go into questions and answers, I'd just like to say thank you so much for your time, your commitment and interest in working for Leeds and York Partnership NHS Foundation Trust.